Senator Roger Marshall joining us now to just discuss. And first of all, thank you. Love having you here. I know you're a straight shooter. I want to get your thoughts on Chuck Schumer. He was on another network talking about the shutdown. And again, he's making the argument that, listen, this really is about Trump and it's about the Republicans being recalcitrant. Listen to his sound, get your reaction.
Donald Trump said ignore the Democrats. So I think this really comes from Trump. And they're afraid of him. We haven't seen them buck him. Even if you hear chatter in the gym or as members talk to each other that what Trump is doing is wrong and bad, they don't buck him. They don't buck him. And he thinks he's king.
As people would say at my barbershop, y'all just scared. That's what Chuck is basically suggesting. Is he right or wrong on this?
Well, listen, the Republicans want a balanced budget. We want to keep the government open as well. But the Republicans have been negotiating since January. Susan Collins, the chairperson of the Appropriations Committee, has negotiated 90% of the federal budget that we're responsible through her committee. It's passed out of committee, oftentimes 23-2, 24-1. So Chuck Schumer is the one that's setting on those and won't let those go across the finish line. And really what he's done, he's taken a hostage here. His hostage is he wants $40 billion a year of extra subsidies for Obamacare. And those were set up during Joe Biden COVID era, and we've said enough. COVID is over with. We want to move on. And by the way, 70% of those extra dollars are actually for people making over 4 times the poverty level. That's not right.
That's not right. And also, as the president points out to us, Senator, I, as an American, it's certainly my right to say to my leadership in Washington, I don't want to pay for surgeries for some groups. I don't want to pay extra for things that I don't believe are, frankly, in my interest. Here's the president talking about it on Friday in the possibility, or dare I say likelihood, that a shutdown is in the offing.
The Democrats want to shut it down, and they want to shut it down because they want to give billions, ultimately trillions of dollars to illegal migrants, people that came into our country illegally. Some of those people are criminals.
Is the president right on this? And then I want you to put on your sociologist or psychologist hat. Why would the Democrats want to do something like that? Because Americans say, don't give money to people who have no legal right to be here in the place of Americans who, frankly, could use the help.
Yeah, look, I think we need to be compassionate. I want to make sure everybody gets adequate health care, but who's paying for it? And again, this is one more consequence of this open Biden by Joe Biden. But I want to emphasize here, what we're asking for is a stopgap measure on funding that Democrats agreed to. Just last December, every Senate Democrat voted for this budget. This is their budget, what they requested, and they want another $1.5 trillion on top of that. They're not being reasonable. The ball is in Chuck Schumer's court. I think he's been given a very reasonable alternative at this point in time as well. And again, this is all about these $40 billion of subsidies on the ACA as well as the Medicaid expansion, those types of things from the Obamacare era.
And they want money for PBS and other things like that, too. A lot of Americans say, listen, they can make their own money. I do want to ask you this. Horse trading is part of your job. Is it fair to suggest that there's a calculus here that Chuck Schumer is simply saying, hey, it's going to fall on Trump politically, and I'm okay with that? Or will it turn out that what the president continues to say, this will be a Schumer shutdown, will that rule the day? And frankly, at the end of the day, I think the American people are the ones who would suffer.
Yeah, so we would like to keep the government open, but we want a reasonable amount of spending.
Right.
At the end of the day, this is about that $40 billion of subsidies that Chuck Schumer is asking for. Of those subsidies, 60-70% of it is going to people making 4 times the poverty level. A reasonable request from Schumer would be to, okay, let's continue that subsidy to people that are at the poverty level, 2 or 3 times the poverty level. That would be the reasonable request, but not the $1.5 trillion that he's asking for. That's not reasonable. I assume that's why the president did not take the meeting in the White House.
Yeah, he said, listen, there's no point in having the discussion at this point. By the way, as you pointed out online, borrowing from future generations for corporate welfare, no way.
No way.
Great to see you, my friend. Appreciate your time today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Roger Marshall.